Hello and welcome to another video here on Games and Tea. In this, the third episode of the series, we'll be constructing our main inner city junction. Once built, I'll look to make a start on filling in the area around the elevated road. And finally, we'll look to join that elevated connection to the highway that runs south of our starting square. So, without further ado, grab your beverage of choice. Tea is preferred, of course. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Okay, so as we come into here, we've got this roundabout here, which we spoke about in the last episode. People are streaming in, they're coming through. There's a lot of people walking, but people can't walk over this roundabout because it's a three-lane highway. So I'm just thinking about whether or not to put a bridge in, pedestrian footbridge like we did before, but people are walking along here. We've kind of created this path here with the road. I'm not sure we need one. It's something to consider for later. Oh, sorry everybody. Sorry. Yes. Yeah. More of you. Oh God. Sorry. It was necessary. 100% necessary. Yeah, honestly, it was the other man. Just going to have a look at the topography here as we go expanding this industry area. It's a little bit, it's fairly flat. There's a few high spots. Yeah, there's a few more as we move over here. It does all slope towards where we currently are. It's a bit of an awkward area, but I think we can make a good go of it, so I'll crack on. Just trying to do something a bit more interesting with this area. I'm not sure what I want to do with it really. Come off here or it's a bit close to that junction there. So I want to create something square, rectangle, that kind of shape, but have some interest in general to it. I can see this road isn't straight. Again, we'll pretend that it's. Just correct it a little bit. Yeah, so I think I'm going to fill this in, but not sort of in a grid shape, sort of on the other side there, what I've done. I'm going to try and do a similar thing here. Try and keep as many three-way junctions as we can. Just come up off of this one, and then maybe again here. No, actually, I'm going to go off this side. I think that fills in quite nicely. Good. That looks alright. Yeah, pretty good. I'm happy with that. Just going to look to paint a industry in on this side. Madison Hills, definitely a better name for that one. If anybody has any suggestions down in the comments, I can start to look out for those. So this industry area makes it a bit easier for later on, and it also marks out where I want. Excuse me. Get rid of that bit. Just clean that up. Great. So it also gives me a bit more flexibility later on. I will look to expand, just tidy up here along the road a little bit. Yes, I like it to be as neat as it can be. Power, just fix that into there. Should make them. There we go. Everybody's happy. Just how I like it. So the industry painting area just gives us a bit of a better idea of where we are in terms of industry. We don't want to expand too much. Oh, crikey. There we are. It's a busy town. We've hit that pretty nicely. We unlocked oil industry specializations, some free public transport, a few policies, lots of additional roads. Fantastic. Headquarters, police, hospitals, fire stations, blah blah blah. Lots of good stuff. That's busy town. So carry on with our industry expansion. So as we look here, just want to have a quick chat about industry areas, constructing them, and my thoughts on them. When I'm working on an industrial area of a city, traffic is likely to be particularly dense. I try to provide as many different options as I can. By that I mean having a lot of different roads for traffic to utilise. Just a few vehicles taking that separate route can really make a massive difference to the city. It can be the difference between a road or junction running smoothly and providing effective transfer of traffic and goods, to being overwhelmed, causing tailbacks, abandoned buildings, and the death of your city. There are a few things that I really like to consider when designing and zoning dense industrial areas. Firstly, providing close, unimpeded access to a highway or other large road which traffic can utilise to move goods around the city is essential. This helps to ensure that commercial areas of your city can get the goods that they're calling for in a timely fashion, and that'll keep them happy, which will in turn encourage growth. Secondly, consider where your industry is in relation to other parts of the city. At present, this city is quite small, it's really within one square, so transporting goods by road is a perfectly valid and effective strategy. As the city grows larger and we promote education, general industry jobs will be required less and less, with our citizens becoming more suited to office work. The benefit of that is that we can intersperse offices within residential and commercial areas without conflict, resulting from ground pollution and noise that you get from general industry. The downside of it is that goods we produce in these areas that we still have will have to travel a huge distance in some cases to get to those commercial areas, potentially on the other side of the map. So one thing I like to consider is where I could site a cargo train station, or a cargo harbour, or cargo airport. Any way that we can really move goods around the city as effectively as possible. The third thing that I really try to consider is how many businesses, trucks, vans, etc. are going to be using a particular junction or road. And this links back to the first point about providing as many points of access as we can. I try to keep the number of businesses, so the amount of zoned squares, up any road or off any spur of connection to as low a number as I possibly can. This really helps to spread the traffic, reduces bottlenecks. Now, this may mean keeping industry off of the main road serving the area. The city's only got 4,000 or 5,000 people in at the moment. There's not really any need for it. It may be something that we look at later. I may remove the industry that's zoned right up against that. But as I say, at the moment it's not necessary. So I've tried to get as much industry in as I can. Filling up quite quickly here with rubbish. So I'm just going to add a recycling centre in here. Just that stretch. Yeah, that covers this covers the city, covers this square. Put that there. I think that's a pretty reasonable. Left us with not a lot of money, so we'll keep that one going. Okay, so after all that industry, I think we're gonna. Well, I haven't got enough money for that. Oh, I'm quite low on money. Can afford a dog park. Who doesn't enjoy a dog park? We'll just try and pop a few of these around the city. We haven't got any real leisure park and plazas at the moment, so I'm going to try and get some good coverage. Some upgrading, fantastic. That should. There we go. Big wave of happiness. Pop another one of these in. Well, when we get a bit more money. We're going to try and expand into this area now. We're going to look to put the junction down first and then see what area we have left. Just waiting for some money here for dog parks. Thinking about these intersections. Yeah, I think we're probably going to build something bespoke. I've got a few ideas I want to try in my head. I'm not entirely sure what I want to put here just yet. Something similar to this maybe, but it'll give us some good traffic flow through. I mean, that's kind of, it's a bit big. I could squish it down, something similar. Maybe looking at having some roundabouts off the sides. So it comes through. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I want to do with this. I'll have to take a few minutes, have a think, and we'll come back. Maybe a roundabout underneath. Get going, have a bit of a mess around, and we'll see where we are. Okay, so we've actually got a huge need for residential zoning. We've grown the city a little bit actually in this episode without really trying to. It's mostly due to upgrading residential areas and commercial areas as well, which is driving that. So yeah, I'm just going to upgrade a few roads here and get this ready for something sensible moving forward. Okay, so we finished upgrading roads. I'm just going to try and put some residential zoning in now. Change to the block one. No, block one. There we go. Yeah, just going to pop a few areas in. Let's see where we get to. Just pop that area in. Anywhere else I've missed in here? Not really. I could come up here. It's too close to the wind turbines, really. Leave that cleared. I think we'll just start popping it in here, and then come back, see what we get growing up. Right, so we're just having a look at this, where we're going to be putting our inner city junction. Let's get the game going at 1 speed there. Just looking at this, where we're going to be putting our inner city junction. We're going to be expanding this obviously over to sort of this area here, just on the tree line. You can see the cars there. That's where the highway is. Do I want a road going through, or do I want it into a roundabout? Well, a roundabout will give us probably better traffic flow and better traffic movement as we move forward in the game, but it is kind of a bit boring, isn't it? It is kind of a bit boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build something. If it works, fantastic. If it doesn't work, I will come back and we'll put a roundabout back in. So I'm going to have a go at that. I'll speed you guys along and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. Just give me a second to have a sip of tea here. Beautiful. Let's try that one again. Interesting. So this one's a different kind of junction. I don't think I've ever made a junction quite like this. I don't love it. I like this idea, and I'm wondering whether to recreate that on the other side, or whether to go for the simpler approach, which is what we first intended to do, and that's just smack a roundabout underneath. So, I think we've just about got that one. I think I deserve a cup of tea after all of that messing about. Delicious. Delicious. So first thing we're going to do here, just set this roundabout up. So we're in Traffic Manager, got priority signs, Control, Shift and click with that left mouse button there. And that just quickly sets this up as a roundabout, which is exactly what we want. Another well-deserved sip of tea. Few issues coming up with this symbol. So this is the not enough workers symbol. And that's because, quite clearly, our need for residential demand is huge. Which is great, because we've just finished this, and this is going to be a very residential area. So I'm going to pop some residential in here. Okay, bit of a mess here. I'm not sure what engineer built this, but they need to be fired, so we're going to correct it for them. Control H, click there. Better, much better. So it was time for that long-promised industry switcheroo and expansion. Thought I'd build a few extra roads, nothing too fancy, some T-junctions, crisscross, fill in as much as we can, and see what we get growing up. Here is our resident Seagull. He is flying around, apparently. Follow him for a bit. What's he off to? He is surveying the scene. Oh, there's not a good scene here. Just found this really interesting industry area that's popped up. What looks like some pigs. Pigs in a field with no fences. This one's called Fruit for All. Yeah, so we built this junction here, we built this junction here, we've converted this to farmland, we've pushed industry over here. Once there's the need, we've got room for industry expansion in this area here, and we've got some more room for residential expansion here. The next thing we're going to be doing is taking this road and connecting it to something so that people like this can not just have to turn around. We're going to be connecting this all the way into here, and we're going to be putting a fairly simple three-way junction in. I may try and do something a bit more exciting. We'll see what happens when we get there. Of course, it would help if I actually owned this square. So 5,000, I'm just going to own that square now. Ah, there we are. As I'm in the middle of building the interchange over there, we have hit big town, 6,500. Oh, that's not bad. So as we're looking at the terrain on this side of the river, yeah, it's a bit more of a challenge to build on. We're just going to put the highway junction in here. I'd like to start building on this side, but we're going to have to sort of do it with the contours here. Terraforming this is possible, obviously, but I'm not sure I want to do that. I'd like to keep some undulations and some terrain here. So I'll leave that. We'll come back to that maybe in episode 4. We'll have a look at that. We've got a bit of a trumpet interchange here. It's the first trumpet interchange I've ever used, actually. Certainly the first one I've ever made. It's not something you see commonly in the UK, so I'm kind of sort of going by what I imagine these would look like. If it looks absurd, let me know. Just going to set up junctions here. This guy's had enough. He's turned around. We're not going to allow people to turn left there. We're not going to allow people to turn right. This is a junction. You go the way that you go. And oh my, I've just noticed this is not helpful. That needs to turn around. There we go. No, there we go. As we said when we did the elevated junction, we have this issue of 3 lanes into 4 lanes. And what the game seems to do is get confused. Excuse me. Oh, just forgot my last little bit of tea here. It might be cold by now, we'll see. Cold or not, that is delicious tea, can't be wasted. Just watch this arrow here as I downgrade, should I say, to a 2-way highway. See, that changes to off, so we've then got, so the game understands now that there is 3 ways in and 3 ways out. It understands that these 2 should go straight and this is a dedicated lane to go off. So what I'm going to do is just change all of these in the middle here. We've got 3 lanes, 1 goes off, down to 2, and we've corrected that little issue here. 2-2. This road's changing underneath their feet, or their tyres, should I say. And then again with 3 lanes back into 3. Sorry, 2 lanes plus 1 goes back to 3. So what we're going to do here is add a lane connector on the way in. So we selected the node, Control S gives us people stay in your damn lanes. And then the same as we come back on here. Well, that about wraps things up here today for episode 3. As you can see, comparing this overview of the city to the last overview of the city at the end of the second episode, a lot has changed. We've created this farming industry here. We've moved our generic industry over here and created more space for generic industry expansion when it's needed. We've improved our waste processing capabilities and we've massively increased our population. As always, a huge thank you if you've made it this far in the video. Don't forget to hit that like button and maybe even consider subscribing if you enjoyed the episode. You've been watching Games and Tea and I'm off to pop the kettle on. Stay safe, everyone.